Felix and my chief financial analyst Tallulah here, and Jerome Powell, the evil, has uttered some words yesterday that are making pre-market look a bit like a Christmas tree, except it's all red. And I want to explain to you why what he said is actually fantastic news. And it'll take the markets a few days to digest it. The weekend might just be long enough, but you will get the understanding and information sooner, because that's what we aim to do here. So I will share my screen with you here and show you this. He said the Fed is in no hurry to cut rates and inflation's on a bumpy path. Sounds ominous, doesn't it? And then he says, if the data lets us go slower, it seems like the right thing to do. I thought it was rather spooky how the writing got bigger and bigger here. And what does it mean? Well, it means the following. Okay, let me show you first of all what the market reaction is to that. So yesterday, before Jerome Powell, the Magnificent, opened his big blabbering mouth, we thought, well, 72% of people in the market thought we're going to get a rate cut in December. Now, as you can see from the little chart here, that got cut in half, and now only 55% of the market is expecting a December rate cut. So you might be thinking, that's terrible, Felix. What about my fintech trades? What about my Tesla? Is everything going to, No, it's just right. It's exactly what we wanted him to say, in fact. And if you smash the like button, I'll tell you why. Holding the live stream hostage. No, I showed some of you this chart yesterday. If you followed me yesterday, I want to explain it to you again. Slow rate cuts are perfect. You could sing to it and say, you're beautiful. It's true, because it really is. Slow rate cut cycles are the best thing for the market. They always have been historically. This blue line here is your slow cut cycle. And what does it mean? It means from the first cut, that is the virgin cut here, and to 24 months later, on average, we go up 32%, which is not a bad return for the S&P overall, right? Could you live with 16% a year? I think I'll do just fine, because we always beat the index by a mile anyway. And what happens when they cut really, really, really fast? Like the yellow line here, that's fast. Well, you actually only go up about 18%. Why would you go up less quickly with slower, faster rate cuts? Because it normally means the economy is in the, I was going to say something rude there, but you know where it is, right? In a dark place. Whereas you cut slowly if the economy is in a good place. So that is actually fantastic and wonderful. Thanks for all the like smashes there, Scott and Mike and Perido. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, exactly. Those asking for Fed rate cuts should be careful what they wish for. The economy is no virgin. I was talking about the first rate cut after the cycle. You know, it's sort of like a re-virginification, if that is the word. And let me show you why my headline today is actually not clickbait. It is not a desperate attempt to get you here. It's an attempt to actually get you here with real information. And what do I have on this chart here? I have in purple rates, US interest rates. I have in that green, red, ziggity-zaggity line there. We have what? What is it? What is it? What is it? Anybody know? Anybody know? Yes, exactly. It's the QQQ. It's the NASDAQ. And the last time we had rates as high as where we are right now, right, was where? 2007, September 2007. Rates had gone sky high going into 2006, 2007. They flattened out, and then they came down fairly rapidly, actually. What are we looking at right now? Rates went up sky high, they're going flat, and now they're coming out down relatively rapidly. And what has the NASDAQ done since this rate cut? Right? It wasn't actually that long ago, was it? 2007. Well, it was at 50 at the time. 50. QQQ was $50. It is now $508. So you have an increase of, I don't know what, 900+%, right? And if you think that isn't going to get repeated because it'll never happen again, well, go back further in the chart and look at a Dow Jones index, because that goes back to 1911 or something. And you will see this is what happens. So if all you have is some patience and you run the rate cycle as they cut, and you have some time and you just buy the bloody index, you're very likely to come out very rich. Now, do I think you could do better than that? Yeah, I think you could do a lot better than that. But that's just my opinion, because we're up 100-something% this year. If you want to learn how we spot those big, beautiful breakouts, and we look at a few in a moment, well, there's a masterclass I made for you. You can watch it straight after this video. You wouldn't want to miss a minute of, Tellula's insights here, would you now? Tellula? No, that would be madness. But in all seriousness, watch it, because you'll actually learn how we spot those breakouts before they happen. And therefore, we can make a lot of money out of them. So it's free of charge. It's just a part of our mission to get you to where you want to get to, financial freedom. Let me show you a few positive data points that the miserable mainstream media isn't really putting out there. And, there's one thing that's pissing mainstream media off, right? It begins with a T and it ends with a rump. And they don't really like that Trump has done the following. The investor conviction has changed incredibly since the Trump election. How many people were expecting a stronger global economy? We have a 23 percentage point improvement. A stronger US economy, 28% improvement. Higher global CPI, okay, inflation, yeah, we're expecting that to be higher, not necessarily a bad thing. Who is overweight US stocks? That's gone up 29%. Will small caps outperform large caps? 35% think that. That's, again, the Trump trade. And so there is a massive, massive improvement in sentiment. Everyone's basically dancing around going, we're going to be rich, we're going to be rich, we're going to be really, really rich. And so should you. And mainstream media doesn't really love that. I mean, read Bloomberg. They're so full of loathing and self-hate and seething for having backed the wrong candidate, they can hardly put out any decent content. So don't pay that much attention to those buggers. Inflows. Look at the inflows into large caps. It's the largest we've seen in, well, at least 8 years. Is that a bad thing? Is that a sign the market's tinkering on the brink of collapse? No, of course not. It's a rally. It's a rally that's very likely to last for some time. Is it going to go up in a straight line? No, of course it bloody isn't. Nothing ever goes up in a straight line. Novo Nordisk has been down for months. Well, Pharma, we're going to get onto that in a moment. My favorite politician of all time is RFK, and he's now going to be the US Health Secretary. Pharma billionaires are quaking in their boots. They're like, but I thought we bribed everybody. I thought we had an inside track. Well, not so much, it seems. They're all getting fired. So anyway, let's talk about Tesla for a moment here. So Trump has announced an end to the EV subsidy. Currently, there is a $7,500 subsidy if you buy an EV, which is an insane waste of government money, just like every single subsidy ever. That is going to go away. Now, you might think that would be a terrible thing for Tesla. Well, the stock certainly tanked on the news. And by the way, do you see what I'm seeing? We hit the resistance line. We went down, and what are we doing? We're bouncing off the support line. It's almost as if these numbers in Trade Vision work, right? Check them out. In Felix Prehn Trade Vision, there's a week's free trial to that, and you will be better informed than 99% of retail for sure. You basically have the same data that the hedge fund buggers have. So what does this mean for Tesla? Well, okay, what's the consequence to start with? So higher prices for Tesla, right? By about $7,500. So what does that mean? That means probably less cars sold, right? Which probably means less revenue, less profit, right? That would be if you just looked at Tesla as a single entity. But, so this is Tesla, right? Now, what about everybody else out there? What about other car manufacturers, literally anybody else? What happens? Same thing, right? Price goes up by $7,500. They sell a lot less cars, right? They get less revenue. And what do they do next? They lose money. So why do those guys lose a lot of money? Whereas with Tesla, I'm just saying profits might decline a little. Because Tesla is the only car company out there that can actually make an EV and make it profitable without the subsidy. So in effect, Elon has just kneecapped his entire competition and made them burn through money and have negative margins, as in lose money on every vehicle sold, because nobody has the super low manufacturing costs of Tesla. And do you think they're going to get there? No. So what you're going to see is that all the old ICE companies are going to put a lot less effort into the whole EV thing, and therefore leaving the whole freaking market to Tesla. It's a genius move, but it takes a little bit of time to see through, right? So it's kind of perfect. It's sort of like, when Big Tobacco, when Big Tobacco got advertising banned, right? You thought that was a strike against Big Tobacco, right? That was the biggest joke of the century. So tobacco, what happened? Well, the government said no ads, right? And what happened to tobacco? Profits went through the roof. Do you know why? Saved the whole ads budget. And nobody could ever launch a new product. Nobody could ever enter the space. It was just whoever was there to start with, as in Big Tobacco, and they could do whatever they want. No competition ever again, right? This move isn't quite as drastic as that, but it's sort of on the same smartness level. So Elon's getting his payout for being on the winning side here. So for Tesla, this should be absolutely fantastic. So it makes bugger all sense that it's going down. Now, of course, the market is a short-sighted, idiotic beast in the short term, so it might go down a fair bit lower. Although, where are we right now? Pre-market, we're up slightly, ever so slightly, not a lot, but just a little. You see the little dotted blue line here at 313, slightly above the support of 310. Not a great deal. We obviously keep an eye on that as the market opens. So that's your Tesla news. Ticker says clickbait, does he? He didn't watch the bit where I said it isn't clickbait, did he? Ticker, I do like your name, though. Palantir is delisting, and you could make some real clickbait titles around that, right? Palantir is delisting from the New York Stock Exchange. They're moving from the New York Stock Exchange to the good old NASDAQ. Why are they doing that? Well, all the big tech companies on the NASDAQ, right? Your Microsofts, your Apples, your Nvidias. There is more volume, more liquidity, and there is a little thing called QQQ, which has a lot of money. And that's going to have to track Palantir when they get included in the NASDAQ 100. So stocks flying, trading at over $60 again here pre-market, which is very nice. So very nice to see that. The good news just doesn't stop really with Palantir. It's hard to, that. Sounds like what CNN would say. What about TC? I hope I'm not agreeing with CNN too often. Pharma is feeling the RFK Jr. heat. Pharmaceutical stocks are slumping, says Bloomberg on Trump's choice to elevate Kennedy, a prominent vaccine skeptic and broader industry critic, to put it very mildly, to a top role on health policy. He basically says he's going to fire everybody in there who had their hands too deep in other people's pockets, which is probably a lot of people in the health department. Certainly a lot of the scientific community. If you wonder why science is the way it is, it's paid for. It's bought and paid for. I've been saying that for years. And I can't believe that somebody who's actually going to be in charge of stuff agrees with me. I thought I was the lunatic outlier. Apparently not so much. So yeah, the vax makers are tumbling. Now, they made 50 COVID billionaires were created in pharma. In pharma during COVID, right? Which is staggering. They had zero risks. I think he's going to terminate the vaccine liability nonsense. The vaccine makers aren't liable for the vaccines, which is it's just idiotic. It's just moronic, right? So we inject our children with stuff, and the maker of the vaccines has zero liability for what we're injecting them with. Total madness. If I don't inject these guys, These ones here, absolutely no vaccines whatsoever, except when we once had to travel. That was about it. And even then we did as little as humanly possible because I'm not a fan of the stuff. I don't believe in it. But no, all the vax lovers were going nuts in the chat. You're very welcome to disagree with me. I don't mind disagreement. It's all good. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. Even if I think yours is idiotic and you think mine is moronic, we can still be friends, I hope. Buffett buys, kind of appropriate, isn't it, if you're called Buffett, to buy some pizza. He has bought Domino's Pizza. Not the whole thing, but a fair slice. And Domino's Pizza on the news is jumped from its support level at 435 up to 455, according to Trade Vision. And that's interesting. What's the second stock he bought? Pool Corp, which has done absolutely nothing. And I always say it's lovely when a stock does nothing for a really, really, really long period of time, because when it does break out, the breakout should be quite big. Not really moving that much. It's at 372, slightly above the resistance as the market opens here. Let's see how high that goes. Is that a breakout? Nah. Let's see how much volume there is behind it. But yeah, interesting that Buffett is definitely buying something. If you want to learn how to spot those breakouts before they happen, and only if they are real breakouts, then come and watch my masterclass, because I make it for you for that very, very, very reason. I'm done with this guy. He makes so much sense. You can't see my screen. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I'd keep it interesting. I was wondering why there's so much activity in the chat. Just okay, let me show you here once again. Domino's Pizza, here it is. It's trading at about 430 something yesterday. It's trading at 455 on the news that Buffett is now a fan. It goes quite well with Coca-Cola stock, apparently. Very tasty. And Pool stock here has just gone absolutely nowhere for really ages, really, really ages. What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters back. And he's buying it here, which is interesting. So the little blue dotted line is the current stock price. We'll have a look at it in a second live as well. So yeah, there are the big two Buffett picks there, Pool and Domino's Pizza. He didn't buy any Soundhound, no. Thanks for all the sheets. Your image is blurry. Try to up the quality on your stream, my friend. YouTube tends to throttle it. They think you can't handle the truth. If you think the AI rally is just fizzling out, let me give you a few data points to possibly convince you otherwise. Big tech is spending a lot of money on AI chips, right? In 2023, they spent about $100 billion. In 2024, it's about $170 billion. And in 2025, it's going to be a lot more. Why is it going to be a lot more? Well, let me show you this. Microsoft spent $10 billion in the last quarter on Nvidia, basically. And that was to meet their cloud demand. And they're saying demand continues to be higher than our available capacity. So they're actually not buying enough. They need to spend more, faster. Amazon said, Amazon has more demand that we could fulfill if we had even more capacity today. And that pretty much everyone today has less capacity than they have demand for. And it's really primarily chips that are the area where companies could use more supply. And they're saying they're going to grow faster when they have bigger and bigger capacity. So they're going to spend more money on it. Now, you might be thinking, well, how are they ever going to make money out of any of this? AI is just a bubble. No one will ever make money from it. It's like the internet. It's useless, right? That's what people said in 1999. Microsoft CEO said, monetization from AI continues to grow. We're excited that only 2.5 years in, our AI business is on track to surpass 10 billion annual revenue so far. This will be the fastest business in our history to reach this milestone. So they're making money out of it. They're going to make a lot of money out of it. So they're going to spend a lot more on AI chips, which is going to keep driving the whole AI rally and everything else around it. My cam's blurry. It's not blurry on my end, my friend. But, you know, YouTube works in mysterious ways. It's entirely possible. Maybe it is because there are not enough likes for the stream. That could be it. That'll probably fix it. I think we should try that. Fuzzy vision's a sign of bad eyesight. Okay, we're now heckling the audience here, which is absolutely fantastic. I love you for that. This is the pre-stock market. I didn't want to show you this. I thought it might upset one or two people, but it's not that bad. Honestly, we're down about a percentage point on big tech. This is on Jerome Powell saying we might cut more slowly. If you watch the beginning of the stream, you'll understand why that was actually a good thing. Tesla is slightly in the green, which is positive. It means people are starting to understand that no subsidies for all EV makers will leave only one EV maker standing, which is definitely a good thing. Solomon, you pressed the like and the image got better instantly. You see, he also got more handsome and more wealthy at the same time. And, you know, the cat just jumped over this table. It worked. Brilliant. No December cuts. It's still on the cards. 55% of the market's still expecting one. But it was 72% of the market yesterday. Right? So a month ago, it was 85% of the market is expecting a rate cut. So just a little bit of slowing down, I think it'd be a good thing. I think it's okay if they skip a month. Completely fine with me. We'll make a lot more money in the process. It gives us more opportunity to put more money into the market, which is always what I aim to do. We'll have a look at SoFi, as it was asked. Who was that? Roman. SoFi trading exactly where it was yesterday at $13.33. Not a lot happening there. It's just, I call this the beginning of an exhaustion stage. You run up a mountain, right? It's very exhausting and you run and run and run. I ran down a mountain today, which I really enjoy. And then you sort of go a little bit sideways and then you got to decide on whether you go up or whether you go down. And the chart will tell you before it goes up or down. If you want to learn how we do that, well, watch the masterclass. It's down below. It's completely free of charge and you'll understand how charts actually work. Will RFK affect Walgreens? Yeah, I think the whole kind of Walgreens, CVS, all the drug pushers, right? The whole like drug industry, I think is gonna feel the pinch. And if you look at Walgreens stock today at $8.80, I mean, it hasn't exactly been a good run, has it? Zoom out on that one. Why would anybody buy that? That is a falling knife if you've ever seen one. If you want to make sure you never buy that, please watch the masterclass. By the end of it, you will never think about buying something like this because you will see how idiotic that would be. CVS, it's actually doing all right. It's just sort of hanging around its support mark here at $55. Yeah, not doing a lot. I think it's more your Moderna, you know, the bastards who are willing to poison an entire planet for profit. It's just my opinion. That's down a little, but it has come down a fair bit, thankfully. So it is nice that humanity doesn't expect to be poisoned continuously. So, you know, it has come down from its COVID highs where it made all those billionaires. It's down about, what, 90%? Will there be a video about Warren's buys, says Floatons. I was thinking about that. Maybe over the weekend if I feel like it. There's a Palantir video coming out, which is quite exciting, I think. If RFK gets in, pharmacy down, he's getting in. He's been appointed. He's anointed, which is all you need. You think the dark cap humming is the blurry camera? I look quite crystal clear on my end. But I agree we could crank the lights up a little bit. I think we could probably do that. So I'm a little bit less wall panel color. But yeah, check seriously, check the quality setting on your stream end. That might work. What could be the next Tesla buy? Let's have a look. Okay, so this is where we are right now, right? So the last real buy point was here in June. That was a really good one. That was a classic textbook breakout. We had another one here in October, and then we had one just after the Trump election, right? Big, beautiful volume here on the 5th and really pumping up. So what are we doing right now? We hit the resistance. Bastard market makers won. They sold at 340 as they have to, their job. And we didn't break through that for 3 days meaningfully. And then we've dropped on the news that there are no more EV subsidies, although that's actually good news. But the market, as I say, in the short term is a bunch of nincompoops. And what are we doing right now? We are bouncing off the 310, which is the support level. We're at $2 above it slightly, which is good. Up a little bit here, one of the few stocks that's actually up today. What about Palantir right now? Well, it's just going up and up and up, isn't it? The news is just good and good and good and better. It's kind of hard to actually think of a stock that had this much good news in such a short period of time. And I think it's kind of compounding, right? It wasn't doing anything for a long time. This year it's up, what, 140% or something? It's trading at $61 right now, which is nearish the top of that rally. But the resistance is now at 65. So I could see us get to 65 next week. I could quite easily see that. Julie, I appreciate the input on lighting. Yes. We will crank up the lights a bit. We will do that. We will do that. I appreciate the input there. We could definitely be a little bit brighter over here. I agree. Do you think the Santa rally is a go? Yes, I think so. I think this looks like a Santa rally. We've pre-run it a little bit, but I think the thing with a lot of change, right? The market doesn't like a lot of change. So we're excited about the less regulation and less taxes and so on. But the market is a little bit wobbly on tariffs and taking on Pharma and, all that sort of stuff that isn't necessarily from a pure capitalist, greedy person necessarily what they really want to hear. But no, from a year-end rally point of view, I think it's on. And look how tiny the drop is. Look, we went from here to there, right? We did that in October. We did that in early November. We did a lot more than that in September. We do this every month. This really isn't a big deal. So if you bottle out with this one, you probably should just go and buy an index fund and put, money into it every Monday or every month and leave it at that. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not saying that to judge. I'm just saying if that's your risk stomach, then just do that. Okay, the SoundHound chap, despite being, Jesus the Almighty, I'm gonna remove you, my friend, because you're annoying me. Around the horn, you like the soft glow. Appreciate that. Can we look at Visa? How's Meta looking? Apostle is back. How's he back? Okay, we're gonna put him in timeout. 24 hours. The little power of the YouTuber. You got to get a kick out of stuff sometimes, don't you? And let's have a look at Nvidia. That's probably a more sensible stock to look at because it actually moves the market. It actually matters. Let's remind you, click the like button. Everything is clearer. Love you for that. Brilliant. Nvidia is just also exactly what I described earlier on whatever the other stock was that we were looking at. We had a beautiful rally. We're a little exhausted now. We're also going into earnings, which is a big unknown. And a lot of people are just thinking, I'm going to wait till earnings. See what happens after earnings. Let's wait for earnings. And that's exactly what you're seeing here. So not really surprising that it's going sideways. We're trading at 145 this morning, which is slightly lower than yesterday. So might take us back to last week's lows, but nothing dramatic. Support sits at 144. You want to close above 144. That's when the market makers will start to buy. I'm a benevolent ruler. Well, who knows, right? Give me more power. You see what I just did. I just banned the poor guy for 24 hours for asking for the same stock name, but 25 times, which was a little irritating. Ding, ding, ding. All right, that gets me out of the hot seat, doesn't it? At least something's moving. Let's have a look at the indices first. Ping out some stock names. We look at those in a minute as well. And I'll ask them. Obviously, if you ask them 25 times, you will get the evil wrath of my cat, who is supervising this stream here. Can you see that? There she is. Taluda, what do you think? What do you think of the S&P, Taluda? She's deciding to sit on the mouse pad. Always helpful. Now I can't see anything. Here we go. S&P is down a little bit. It's down below 590. Now that's not wonderful. Why isn't that wonderful? Because 590 is where our support line sits. We would expect in the next couple of minutes the market makers to wake up from their cocaine-fueled slumber. That was obviously a joke. No drugs on Wall Street, strictly. None whatsoever. They're all clean as a whistle. They are meant to buy the S&P when it drops below 590. So let's see how that pans out in a little bit. Dark pools show selling. Thanks, Mike, for pinging that out. Mil Thacker, he says, Felix, your education has been an integral part of my stock journey. I listened to your free course and plan to listen again. Thank you. I'm very happy, my friend. That's exactly what we do here. Okay, so let's give the market a couple of minutes to settle in. I'll give you a quick rerun of what Jerome said, because that's actually why the market's down today. It's important you understand that for anybody who's just tuned in. And he said this, he said, the Fed is in no hurry to cut rates. Inflation is on a bumpy path. And if the data lets us go slower, it seems like the right thing to do. Which is not what the market wanted to hear, because it means we may or may not get a rate cut in December. And we were kind of counting on a Santa-sized rate cut in December. But it's actually a good thing. Why is it actually a good thing? The secret is this chart here. Let me explain this one more time for any stragglers who've just tuned in, because you've woken up and you're wondering, what is going on? Why is my portfolio red? I thought Felix said everything was only ever going to go up in a straight line and there'd never be a red day ever again. Maybe you talk to Winston too much. He's an optimist. Now, what happened to my pen? Here it is. Cat sat on it. So what happens in fast rate cut cycle? That yellow line here, from the moment of the first cut, right? The first cut, the primary cut, the virgin cut. The market goes up 19% on average in the next 2 years. Now, if you cut rates slowly, the market goes up 32%. So what's better? Slow cuts or fast cuts? Slow cuts are much better. Why? It means the economy is strong. It means there isn't panic. You only cut fast if there is panic. If there's panic, there is usually a recession and terrible things happen. Stocks fall, Bankers get smaller bonuses. They have to downsize. They have to maybe cancel the Lamborghini they just ordered, and those kind of hideous things that happen in the real world. And we don't want that now, do we? So slow cuts are actually a good thing. The market just doesn't quite realize it because not everybody has looked at this chart. And then we looked at the last time we were looking at such a tremendous rate cut cycle was in 2007. Since 2007, the NASDAQ has gone up from $50 to presently $500 plus, right? 10x. Do you think it's going to do the same thing again between now and whenever that same distance in time would be? Yes, would be my answer. And there'll be bumps. But yeah, that's my view. So be invested and you'll be rich. It's kind of as good as it gets. Ben, yeah, you're quite right. Palantir enjoying the NASDAQ news, which is fantastic. They're relisting on the NASDAQ rather than on the New York Stock Exchange. And it's going to give us another nice breakout. There'll be lots more breakouts out there as well. What do you have to do to learn how to spot breakouts? Watch the free masterclass. I will actually teach you how to spot the patterns that tell you that a breakout is about to happen and it's underway. And that way you can potentially make a heck of a lot more money, which is really, really what we want. And then we run you through a couple of other things. I'm not going to run you through again. You can watch the video from the beginning if you want. Pharma is feeling the RFK heat. He's going to drain the corrupt money morass that is Pharma, FDA, and everything else related to health. Is that Matthew McConaughey? That's very kind of your daughter. I can't do the Texan accent. I wish I could. I think it's a very nice accent. I should maybe work on that. But thank you. SoFi support levels, please, says Mark. Mark, you could just go to Trade Vision and type it in, you know. You could just type in SOFI. You might lose an entire calorie, and maybe you don't want to risk that. I get that. But if you want, if you're not already signed up, there is a week's trial to Trade Vision, so check it out. Not a lot going on at SoFi, to be honest with you. It's just going sideways, which is good. This is what you, bit of consolidation, nothing wrong with that. Resistance is at $15, so we could go up a little bit. We might go sideways for a little bit. I don't mind. My SoFi trade is up about 170% so far, and that trade's about a month old, I think. Felix is blushing red. Palantir is up 6.6%. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? My cat wishes to leave the room. Can you hear that? Look at that. We're back to the all-time high of 13th of November practically on Palantir, which is absolutely phenomenal. So let's open a minute chart and have some fun. Okay, I'm gonna have to let the cat out 1 second. Cats are always in charge, aren't they? Look at that chart for a morning opening. That's pretty good, isn't it? Going up in a straight line. NASDAQ inclusion. When Tesla was included in the NASDAQ, it went up 80% that year. Palo Alto, I think, similar number. I'll put a video out on that later today, so you can watch that. You can hear Tallulah. 1 like, 1 pixel for Felix. There seems to be something dodgy going on the stream end on your side, which is curious. It looks crystal clear on my end. Let me see if it's restream that's doing that. And that also looks quite clear. Maybe it is a light thing. Okay, we will be brighter tomorrow. I promise. I'll crank up the lights. You need a cat flap. Yeah, I thought about that, but then you wouldn't be able to close any door ever, right? Every door would have just a big hole in it, which kind of means you could just get rid of the door. I just sold my Palantir options and now need to reset thanks to Felix getting me back in before earnings. Okay, I'm glad you made some money there, my friend. That's really what we want. Any other questions? Pop it out there in the chat. And if you haven't already, well, watch the masterclass and actually learn how to make more money, because that's really what it's all about, isn't it? Isn't that really what it's all about? Let me have a look at what breakouts we called yesterday with Trade Vision here. Let's see, what were the buys yesterday? Shop. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Valero, okay. Remember we talked about that a little while ago as going to benefit, and it does seem to be breaking out, which is nice to see. As we thought, Church and Dwight did. Yeah, looks all right. Is there anything big here? DocQ. Regional banks, yeah, I think they'll do quite well. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's a nice breakout. Very nice breakout. So, yeah, watch Trends AI. Get the emails every day. Twice a day we send them out. Options panel, says Aaron. Are you wondering where that's gone? You can still turn it on, my friend. There's a little pop-up also that shows you how to do that. In the bottom here, you can flip from news to options. We give you that choice now. Some people get confused by the options panel. Blurry for you too. Interesting. Okay, all right. We will see what we're going to do there. My cat advised me to get into ASML Smart Cat. When do you sell? What I would generally do is set a stop loss. You don't want to let the winner become a loser, right? And there are a bunch of theories on where you can set that stop loss. I can't really tell you that because it would be financial advice. But you know, take into account how much the stock normally moves. Sort of less than a 6%, 7% move or something, we would definitely want to ignore, I would argue. So you don't get knocked out too quickly. Because think about yesterday, right? We moved from 61 to 59. Doesn't really matter in the scheme of things. So you just want to be a little bit smarter about the way you set that, but you do want to set it for sure. All my trades have stop losses on them, always. How much does Trade Vision cost? I think it's $19 a month. If you subscribe for the year, I think it becomes 16 or something. Our intention is to make it honestly as cheap as possible, because I just think people deserve to have good data points. So yeah, our intention is just to make it better and better and better and keep it pretty reasonably priced. Aisha, okay, you're noticing some blurriness. All right, we will crank up the lighting. Do we get the emails if we are paid member? Absolutely, you do. Let me see if there's anything else in here you guys want to cover. So let's look at the live market here. A little bit of red. Amazon down 3%. That's a little unusual. Banks are going up. Bit of a pullback. That's kind of all I see here. Probably an opportunity to buy the dip, but that depends obviously on your cash flow situation. Be relaxed about it. We've had a beautiful rally. Things are therefore going to go down a little bit. People take profits as they do. Palantir is flying at $63. There's something green there, which is nice. More data will make you a better investor. Better data will make you a better investor. Absolutely. Is there a way to minimize the options and news panel to make the chart full screen? Not at present. Not at present. No, it's a thought. It's a thought we've also had. Can you close that? No, you can't. If you do that, you go back to the simplified chart. So no, you have either the news or the options data there at the moment. Why is Trade Vision closed in Norway? You are not member of the European Communist Community. And it means that if we have one member in Norway, we need to pay 4,000 euros or whatever it is a year equivalent for a VAT file, VAT. So unless we have a significant number of Norwegians, unfortunately, it doesn't make sense to make it available because everybody else would have to subsidize you. So I think Stripe goes by billing address. That's how they do it. So yeah, it just, it just doesn't make any sense, unfortunately. Alrighty. So there we are. I love you for tuning in. Go watch the masterclass now if you haven't already. felixprehn.org/get free and actually learn how to potentially make a heck of a lot more money from your money so you don't have to work as hard and your money works a little harder. And I thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the live stream here in its slightly dark surroundings, then share it with a friend. And I hope to see you on the next one. All the best.